In this video we're going to look at CSP JSONP bypass. So let's launch the lab and let's try basic payload. Okay, so the italics tag has taken visual effect. We can see our payload's been reflected without sanitization. Now there's some interesting looking code here. Let's just leave that for a minute and let's try doing a script tag. Right, so that's not executed. Let's have a look at the source. We can see our payload's been reflected. So let's have a look in DevTools to see why it's not executed. And we can see here that the browser's refused to execute it because it violates the content security policy. Okay, so now let's have a look at this code. So we've got a script tag and it defines this function which takes a parameter and puts it in the message element, and notice that uses inner text, so that's probably safe. And here it's creating a script, and the script is this JSONP.ftl callback equals print. So let's just close these down. Let's get the network tab in DevTools. So we can see here, here's the request to JSONP. Okay, now JSONP is not widely used anymore because of the availability of cross-origin resource sharing. But prior to that being available, JSONP was a way that JavaScript could communicate cross-domain. So what happens is, if there's some data on a third-party site, it returns it as JavaScript, and it will call a particular function that we specify. So if we don't want to call print, if we want to call foo, we can do that. Now you might be thinking, can we inject HTML? Well, we can, but it has no visual effects. I'll just fetch this again, because if we look at the headers, the content type is application JavaScript, it's not HTML, and browsers don't execute JavaScript in this way. It has to come from a script tag. But what we can do is use this to bypass the CSP. I'll just get that CSP up again. So default source self. So this will allow loading from its own domain, and then in the JSONP we can control JavaScript that's on its own domain. So what we can actually do is take the payload we want, we can paste this in, it's the JSONP, and then we can use a comment to avoid any syntax errors. Okay, so we'll grab that URL and we'll go back, and what we'll now do is script source and then paste the URL, and we'll just do end script to balance it, and there we go, our payload's executed. Just to be sure, we'll take that URL, we'll send it to the headless browser, and there we go. We can see we've successfully solved the lab. So JSONP, while it had its uses historically, is generally a bad idea and a security risk, and specifically it allows the bypass of content security policy.